Hello and welcome to the 2022 virtual edition of the Other Art Fair. My name is Monty Preston. I'm a curator at Saatchi Art, and I'm really excited to talk to you all today about the other avatars and give you a little tour of the virtual exhibition that we have planned. So just to introduce what the Other Avatars is, it was Saatchi Art's first NFT project, and it was really a first of its kind within the NFT space. What the project consisted of was a collaborative group of 154 artists who were from over 35 countries worldwide. 50% of our participants were women, and the majority of artists who participated were brand new to NFTs. All the artists worked together to create a PFP project, which was designed in response to the avatar and PFP or profile picture projects that had become really popular in 2021 within NFTs. What we wanted to do was to take the concept of an avatar project and give it a very elevated fine art twist and do something that felt very true to Saatchi Art, who we are and who our artists are. What we did was we had all of the artists work together to follow a brief and produce avatars that reflected the key elements of a PFP or an avatar project. So they all have a standardized format. There's a recurring character throughout all of the avatars, and there's trait variation that makes each avatar absolutely unique. In most avatar projects, traits have a very consistent visual representation from avatar to avatar. For instance, a cowboy hat would look the same in one avatar to another. However, for the other avatars, artists were given complete creative freedom over how they would want to represent those traits, which allowed for a lot of diversity and different interpretations between artists. The result is really amazing. It's a highly creative collection of avatars. Each of them is unique and distinct and in the style of the artist that created them. And you can view the entire collection on OpenSea, which I encourage you to do. Today, I'm going to walk you through 4 of the booths that we have set up, showcasing some of these traits and how different they are. And we are going to start by kicking it off with the flower garden. So let's go in. Hopefully I can navigate the space okay. All right, here we go. So this room, I call this room the flower garden. Because all of the works in this room use the same background trait of using a flower background or a flower garden as the background. So as you can see, there are a lot of different interpretations of what a flower background looks like in these works. And there's also a ton of differentiation between the mediums that were used. So for instance, over here on this wall, we have artists who have interpreted a more traditional take of a floral flower garden background. This work here by Damola Ayagbayo is using one of Vincent van Gogh's paintings in the background. We also have a completely hand painted from scratch work by Mandy Racine, where she painted florals in the background of Vincent over here. And then on this wall, we have, again, just a lot of different interpretations and different ways of representing florals. So Liz Bretz is a photographer who used a primarily digital medium to create her flower background, which primarily focused on sunflowers, which is a very associated flower with Van Gogh for obvious reasons. The cherry blossoms here used by Lisa Kranichfeld are taken from one of Van Gogh's works, and they're really beautifully contrasted against this Japanese paper, which was applied to Van Gogh's shirt to create a really beautiful effect. Evelina Skowronska is a printmaker, and her works have a really great sort of cutout feel, and she created this more abstract symbolic representation of a flower garden. Nicolina Pedalis is a photographer and a digital artist who takes photos of everything that you see in her pictures and then recompiles them to create these really fantastical, surreal environments. So all of these florals that you see, flamingos included, are photographs that Nicolina took and applied to her work. Along the bottom, this work by Said Mingu and Maya Almeida Araujo, they're also using the cherry blossom works from Van Gogh's paintings, and each have interpreted them in their own way, applying different colors to really give different atmosphere to their work. And then lastly, over here, we have two really fantastic works by Cause, as well as Ferris McHugh, who used Van Gogh's paintings to create a floral inspired background, mixing it with photography or painting it from scratch. So a lot of differentiation among the interpretations of this particular trait. You can read more about that here if you're interested, and then we are off to the next room. Okay, here we are at room number 2. This room is dedicated to the trait of 3D glasses, which, if you're familiar with PFP projects and avatar projects, is a very popular trait to see in one of these NFT projects. It originated with the CryptoPunks collection, which was the first NFT PFP project and really the first NFT project. And it has sort of become made famous by just its prevalence across PFP projects, but also thought leaders such as Richard, who is a developer in the space and who uses his CryptoPunk with 3D glasses as his profile picture. So we wanted to include some fun traits that really sort of spoke to and reflected what was happening in the NFT world. And so 3D glasses was a really fun one. In this room, you can explore all of the works by the artists who are here. Many works are created digitally. We have works that were created by hand. We have some video. We have works that were painted from scratch, such as Jennifer Warren's. It's really just a phenomenal mix of interpretations of what 3D glasses means to different people and different styles, and showcasing all of the different work and the talent of these artists. On this wall, we have works by Donald Okudu and Anna Matkiewicz. Donald's work is digital, whereas Anna's is created with a combination of techniques, including watercolor and painting, as well as digital techniques, which have been applied to the background of Starry Night. Then on this wall, we have work by Javiera Estrada on the top row. Then John Lee Hope Bluefish, who created his work completely out of collaged images. So get up close and take a look at it. It's really fantastic. Richard Hoffman is the most far right on the top row. And then on the bottom row, we have Jonas Fish, Jennifer Warren, and Francesca Fini. Francesca Fini's work is a video, so make sure to click the little play button if you want to get the full effect. It has sound too, so have your headphones in. And then on this far wall here, we have work by Jason Balducci and Vitaly Kotiash. And I think it's really just incredible to see the variety of different interpretations of 3D glasses that these artists brought to this particular trait. So I encourage you to read more about it, explore some of the other 3D glasses interpretations by looking at the collection on OpenSea, and just take a look at more of these artists' portfolios. They have physical works available for sale, as well as being able to purchase the NFT on the secondary market. Okay, welcome to room number 3, which is the room of the dead. So artists were asked to interpret Van Gogh in their avatars as either living or dead. So that was one of the traits. And so for the trait of dead, we had many artists who took inspiration from Skull of a Skeleton with Burning Cigarette, which is one of Van Gogh's very famous paintings, which you will probably recognize when you're looking at some of these avatars. For instance, this work over here by Mary Lai that has the little cigarette in the forever stamp. Many artists took a different approach, some of them choosing to use the dead trait as an opportunity to tell the story of Van Gogh's tragic death, or taking a more humorous approach, depicting Van Gogh as a zombie. So if you take a look in this room and explore, you can really get a sense of who these artists are, their different styles and techniques. We have a mixed media, more street art approach from Diego Tirigal. We have a whole series of forever stamps from Mary Lai, which was just brilliant. Paul Brown's projected his avatars onto architectural facades. He's an architectural photographer, and so this particular approach was really unique and very much his signature. We also have really brilliant works from Montreal 1929, Adam Norgard, Paul McParland, Ayawa, Maxim Fomenko. And then over on this wall, we have works by Faye Alexelli, as well as Maria Folger. Many of the artists here also have physical works available for sale, or you can purchase their NFTs and see the rest of the works in their series by going to OpenSea to view the entire collection. So welcome to our fourth and final room. This room represents Curators Picks. So these are my selections from the project, which I found to be extremely original, and where the artists took the brief and applied their style in a very, very unique way. I think it's also an excellent representation of the diversity of art that we have on Saatchi Art. We have printmaking, we have work that was done totally digitally and is animated. We have photography, watercolor, oil painting, collage. We have works that were put through an algorithmic music processor. So just some really, really interesting approaches here. I would encourage you to explore this room and also explore the portfolios of all of these artists. If there are works that you're interested in learning more about, please head over to saatchiart.com/NFT for a link to join our Discord, where you can interact with the artists and ask them questions. Here we have this work by Janine Rubel, and she painted all of her works from scratch. And they're all featuring her dog, who features prominently in many of her other works. So it was a really fun take. We also have a version of Child Vincent by Catherine Denvier, which is very much in her style. The work up top here is by Massimo McGee, and he works a lot with music and algorithms, and the process by which he created this piece was very complicated and interesting, and I'd recommend you chat with him in Discord if you're interested in learning more about it. Underneath, we have this very abstract piece by Karen Thomas, which is completely in her signature style, and when you see it, you just know exactly that that's a Karen Thomas work. I was really, really astounded by Ko Byung-jun's watercolor pieces. He there's so much emotion in the way that he portrayed Vincent in these portraits. It's a phenomenal series, and I would definitely encourage you to go and look at more of them because they're just fantastic. You can get up close and see all of the details. Yori Hakateyama created these works that have a little bit more of a surreal, monstrous take to them. They're extremely dark. They're a little bit terrifying, but they're so original. So I was really excited to be able to work with her and see what she created throughout this process. Steve Kalinda created these amazing animations. There are so many of them, and they're all different. I would definitely recommend looking through them to see the rest of the series. Ernesto Navarro hired a model, dressed that model up as Van Gogh, and photographed that model 10 or 20 different ways, and recreated portraits of Van Gogh, which were very successful. I think just looking at this bottom row here, this is all the same. These are all portraits based on the same work by Vincent van Gogh, and you can just see how different they all are, how different the hats are, the clothes, just the interpretation by the artist. So here's a work by Jesus Leguizamo. Jesus usually works in oil paintings and collage, and so this work is really interesting because it has both a digital approach. You can see that parts of the work here are digital. It looks like we're moving on. But it also has there's a lot of texture in the piece. You can see when you get up close that there is a lot of texture that was actually applied to the work to create this very, very unique textural experience. And then here we have work by Ruth Moley, which her pieces were a lot of fun, just using a very vibrant color palette. If you're familiar with her work, as she has shown at the other art fair many, many times, you may recognize this work immediately as hers just because of the color palette. But all of her work was created by hand using various types of paint and a very involved process. So I really love this room. I think it showcases so much of the talent that we have. All of the artists in this project were asked to do something really difficult. So I really hope that you enjoyed this. And if you have any questions, please do join our Discord, join the community. We will be posting updates about our further plans for the project. You can learn more about NFTs, about digital art, about the artists involved in this project. So we would love to see you in there. Head over to saatchi.com/NFT if you'd like to learn more and connect with us. Thanks so much.